3-all, 30-all, Fils serve. It's a big point right here. Berrettini playing well early in this match. A hard-hitting rally from both guys. Fils deciding to hit a backhand from the forehand side, which is something you don't see too often. And Berrettini staying strong, especially on the backhand side, which is his weaker side, and he earns the first breakpoint chance in this match. 30-40. Berrettini is an exceptional grass court player. On other surfaces, the chances would be lower against Fils. On grass, they are higher against Fils for a couple of reasons. Like I said, Berrettini, one of the best grass court players in the world still, even though he's had, injury problems galore. It's still a very dangerous guy on grass. And Fils was injured, unfortunately, again. Had to pull out of Roland Garros, a tournament in which he would have been very dangerous at, and has not played since then. This is his first tournament back, so I think it's a big chance for Berrettini here. And he earns the break. Up 4-3 in the first serving. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Apologies for jumping into this one late, but I came from the Iyala joint match. And I didn't plan to do this match. But it turned out that they had just started warming up when I was wrapping up that one. So I thought, you know what, let me set this one up real quick and hop in here just a tad late. So happy to feature this one. I've been watching the match though from the first. I missed the first game, but I've been watching the match, and shall be an interesting match. We will see. Goran is in the box with Fils. I cannot believe it's been, what, 25 years since he won Wimbledon. Can you believe it? Man, 25 years since then. Time flies, huh? I remember. 2021, I remember it vividly. 2001, not 2021. 2001 when Goran won Wimbledon. What a run he had in those couple of weeks. Ranked outside of the top 100. Fils with a strong backhand return, love 15. Looking to get the break right back. Nice little forehand drop volley from Berrettini. He has great hands around the net. His incredible feel for the ball, Berrettini, on all strokes. Starts with his kick serve, one of the best kick serves in the game. His forehand so versatile. He can hook it, he can angle it, short cross court. He hits a phenomenal forehand topspin lob. Of course, he can blast it too. The backhand slice is ridiculously good. He's got a lot of feel for a guy that's very powerful. It's an incredible combination. And from love 15 to 30-15. Interesting thing in this match is that, you know, both guys have not played any matches on grass because both have been injured. Berrettini hurt himself at Roland Garros, where he spectacularly made the quarterfinals, if you remember. He had to pull out against Arnaldi. He had that incredible match against Comesana in the round of 32 where he won 7-6 in the fifth, 15-13 in the fifth set tiebreak. That was some match. Then he took out Cerundolo, who had taken out Sinner. Pops a string. That's another thing you don't see too often on the ATP Tour, but he popped it on the bottom corner there. So it's not really a string pop. That's something that can happen if you hit the ball off center. You can hit around the grommets, the string can pop. Don't really see too many regular string pops these days on tour where the string pops, you know, center racket. But in any case, Berrettini rested since then, since that pull-out match against Arnaldi, where there was something wrong with his hip, so it's nice to see him healthy again. And the biggest concern for Fils are the injuries, because if it wasn't for the injuries, Berrettini with a nice hold here up 5-3 in the first set. If it wasn't for the injuries, I think he can be a top 5 player. No doubt about it, he can be a top 5 player. Berrettini. I mean, Fils. Sorry, I got distracted here by Shadow. Shadow, what are you doing up here? Buddy. This is, I need to take a break and feed the cats. I need to go and have to take a break after this first set. Yes, Anna, I decided to do this one. Yappa Man is in the house. We don't have a lot of people in here, but I think we'll get a few in here. We'll see. I decided to do this one because I got so much to do today. I said, you know what, let me do this one, and that'll be it for today. And then I'll take a little break before my wrap-up video. But you know, back to Fils. Let me talk about Fils, because when he came out this year after a long absence, it's been since I think Rome 2025. He didn't play at all because of his back. And then he came back for Doha, where he made the final. I don't know if he played anything before that. I will have to look. No, I don't think he came back in Doha, right? That was the first tournament. No, he did come back earlier in that. Montpellier, that was his first tournament, made the quarters there. Then he played Rotterdam, lost to Demonor. So it was his third tournament back, and he made the final. You know, he beat Mike Shag, Alice, Lehechka, Menchik, like took out big players, you know. Strong players, made it all the way to the final, was playing well, especially that match against Menchik, because Menchik had taken out Sinner in the previous round. So kind of from 0 to 100 for Fils. That's how talented he is. And in that final against Alcaraz, there's not much you can do, because Alcaraz played one of the best matches that I've ever seen from Alcaraz. Completely blew Fils off the court 2-1. That was some level from Alcaraz. So hopefully we see dead Alcaraz when he comes back with a hardcourt swing after Wimbledon. But in any case, Fils played well in Indian Wells too, made the quarters there. Played exceptionally well in Miami, where he made the semis. Didn't play a good match against Lehechka, lost 2-2, but he saved 4 match points against Paul in the quarters, 2-6 in the third set tiebreak, and then rattled off 6 consecutive points. Huge success. So then he goes to Barcelona and wins Barcelona. You know, takes out Hodar, he takes out Atman, Nakashima, and he was down match point against Atman in that match in the first round. But takes out Atman 7-6 in the third, then Nakashima, Musetti, Hodar, and Rublev. And at certain portions of these matches, the way he was playing, I was sure that he can be top 5 player, But not only that, I even speculated that he could be dangerous even against Sinner. Now, Sinner proved that wrong because he absolutely destroyed Fils in the semifinals of Madrid, 2-4. But at this moment in time, maybe even prior to the Sinner match, because that kind of like put doubts in people's minds, because Sinner completely destroyed Fils and Zverev. And like he said, okay, you know, it's a big difference between me and everybody else. But in any case, at that moment in time, I was certain this guy's a top 5 player. The best forehand in the world as far as heaviness is concerned. And then he's injured in Rome against Pellegrino and has to pull out. Again, the injury problem. So the health is the number one concern for Arthur Fils. Unfortunately, he needs to be healthy. And if he is, the sky's the limit for him, really. If he keeps getting better, he's got a phenomenal coach in Goran. And maybe, you know, he can improve his game to the point where he can be dangerous even for Sinner and Alcaraz. But again, health comes first. And in the meantime, after the pullout in Rome, people have forgotten about Fils. You know, it's like people move on quickly in tennis, I notice. They move on quick. So here he can reestablish himself if he takes out Berrettini. You know, we take a look at the draw later, who's over here in this section. And we will see, but Berrettini 30-15, 2 points away from the first set. Second serve. Drop shot from Berrettini. I talked to you about the feel of Berrettini. This guy has exceptional hands for a powerful guy. It's incredible, that combination. It's that power and feel combined. Something that's so rare. But Berrettini has it. Forehand drop shot winner, 40-15, 2 set points. And there's a big serve and a forehand cross-court winner from Berrettini, first set 6-4. So having said all this about Fils, you know, I am not surprised that much by this result. You know, because Berrettini is an absolute beast on the grass. This combination of power, feel, and also the fact that he's an unbelievable athlete, able to move spectacularly well. He was in a Wimbledon final. Let's not forget about that. That was in 2021, right? Let me double check that. Yeah, 2021, I think. Hold on, let's double check that if I got that right. Yeah, 2021. Let me tell you who he beat here. The draw kind of opened up for him. Let's not put an asterisk behind that, but you know, it was the year where Hurkacz was in the semi. So Peja first round, Van den Zandskop second round, Bedene third round, Ivashka fourth round, FAA quarters, Hurkacz semis. So look, it's tough, right? FAA and Hurkacz quarters and semis, but for sure, draw opened up a little bit in the first few rounds. No doubt about that. And I think this was the tournament where Hurkacz took out Federer, wasn't it? Yeah, Hurkacz took out Federer. That was Federer's last match at Wimbledon, 6-3, 7-6, 6-0. And that was the year where Shapovalov was in the semis. That was a kind of a crazy year in Wimbledon. It was a crazy year. And Novak took care of business. Hurkacz had taken out Medvedev there, who was seeded 2. So that's how it goes, you know what I mean? But anyway, Wimbledon final is Wimbledon final. And this guy can play incredibly well on grass. And what do you think about Kyrgios and his return to tennis? Well, look, it's very difficult for him because he doesn't play barely any tennis. I'm going to look it up later, but maybe not. But he's barely played any tennis in the last 2 years, so you can't really come on tour and expect anything significant. Can you win a match here and there? Yeah, he can. He has. He beat a couple of guys. I know he won a match in Miami. How was it, this year or last year? I think it was last year. And he even won a match on grass this year, beat Mute. So he can win matches. He's very talented. He's a great player, but anything significant is going to be tough. And then he lost to, what's that guy's name? The Japanese player. I forget now, but he was up a set in a break, I think. Or I don't know if it was a break in a second, but he won the first set, lost the second set in a tie break, and then lost the third set against the Japanese player. What's his name? I'll look it up later. And then he lost to Walton in Mallorca. So, you know, it's difficult to play tennis like that. You have to play. You have to play tournaments. You got to get matches under your belt. So I don't really know what his goal is or his plan. Maybe this is it. This is the last time he will play. I don't know. I don't know how long the protected ranking will last. And eventually he's going to have to rely on wild cards and stuff like that. So either commit fully, but I know there's been injuries. He's had surgery, so, you know. Oh, yeah. We got to switch the server. Okay, hold on. Well, now you drive me crazy with that name. What's the Japanese player? Look it up real quick, okay, guys? Real quick. Unrelated to this match, Kyrgios, but we'll look it up real quick. Hold on. Here. Shimabukuro he lost to. Sho Shimabukuro. He's 90 in the world. Very good player. He lost to Faria in the first round of Wimbledon. But yeah, no, he took out Greek Spore in Halle in the first round. He's a very good player. Lost in 3 sets to Shelton in Stuttgart. That's who Nick Kyrgios lost to in 3 sets. Ranked 900 right now, Kyrgios. Last year he finished 671. The year before that, 24, didn't play at all. The year before that, 23, he played 1 match. Lost to Wu. And the year before that, 2022, was when he was in the final of Wimbledon. He ended the year 22 in the world. So that's basically the last year he played tennis, was 2022. So think about it. Like, that's the same as Serena. It's too long of an absence from tennis, and you just can't come in there and just be competitive like that. You can't. You got to work your way into it. But he's still, like I said, very talented, enough so to win a match here and there. All right, let's lock in now back on this match. Berrettini continuing to serve exceptionally well. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Fils. Berrettini taking care of business on his own service games. Oh, Anna says he played doubles here with Bublik. Did he really? Oh, I didn't know that. Yappa man, don't give Kyrgios that much attention. Yeah, there was a question asked. I sometimes get into long talks when somebody brings certain things up. It kind of distracts from the match. I gotta stop doing that and go on these long rampages, long rants, rather. And there's a nice hold there from Berrettini, 1-all. And Berrettini is a tough customer on clay. On grass. Jesus. Maybe it's my nerves already kicking in for the Croatia match, guys. I apologize. Not looking forward to that one. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but on the other hand, like I know I'm going to be bummed if they lose. It's going to ruin my evening. And if it's tight, I'm not going to be able to handle it. I don't want to see penalties. I love watching penalties when other teams play. It's fun, but not when your own team plays. It's like a nightmare. Fils with a nice point there. Good forehand approach shot. Knocks off the volley. 15 love. That's a nice forehand again from Fils inside in. 30 love. Forehand drop shot, very poor from Fils. Counter drop shot from Berrettini, very strong. Fils runs it down, overhits the lob, 30-15. Yep, I mean the Holland penalties. You already know it ends the wrong way. How about the Germany penalties? How brutal was that? That was the best penalties, entertainment factor wise, the Germany ones. They had a thing won. They had it won. I read a lot of articles in Germany after that the last couple of days. Very entertaining. Not if you're a Germany fan, I guess. Not so much, but the press can be very brutal. Nice hold there from Fils. 2-1 in the second set on serve. Guys, we're going to be right back. I got to take care of some cat business real quick. And I'll see you guys in about 2 minutes, okay? Wow, that's very jazzy. A little too jazzy. I have to switch up that song. Berrettini with a hold there at 2-1, 15-all on the Fils serve, 2-all on the second. Berrettini won the first set 6-4. Long rally here, and Berrettini misses the slice, uncharacteristic. He doesn't miss a lot of slice backhands. That slice backhand is rock solid from Berrettini. (30-15). Ace down to T, 40-15. Djokovic and Sinner will overlap tomorrow. Sinner on court 1. I guess they get to mix it up a little bit because they both played on center court yesterday, so I guess they had to mix it up, even though it's weird that it's Sinner that's put on court 1, but makes no sense, but whatever. They should both be on center court. Let's take a look at the order of play tomorrow. Let's try to figure out what we can do tomorrow as far as the streaming is concerned. That's day 5, right? Day 5 tomorrow. Let's take a look. Rinderknecht Djokovic first match, 8:30, and Ostapenko Sabalenka. And then FAA Zheng the last match. So they replaced Sinner with FAA. Who seeded third? Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah, they'll definitely overlap. See, they will 100% overlap. They'll basically play at the same time. So I got to decide whether I'll do Sinner, Brooksby, or Djokovic, Rinderknech. So I'm going to do a poll here, and you guys decide. I'll do whatever you guys say. So let me do a quick poll right here. Hold on 1 second, okay? We'll do a poll. Okay, guys, and let me pin this real quick. It's already pinned, I think. I think it's already pinned. You guys decide. We'll take a look later, but I don't know why I can't see this. Hold on. Why can't I see this poll? Oh, I guess I can see it down here. Let me see here. Oh, I got it now. Once you click, you can check the percentages. Djokovic, Rinderknech winning right now. Interesting. All right. In Nadal's prime, when he would up against a Croatian, would you still pull for Nadal? Of course. I'll tell you, I'll go one further. Since Ivanišević is in the box of Fils, and since it has been 25 years since he has won Wimbledon, let's go back to when he won Wimbledon. And I was a huge Agassi fan at the time. I mean, of course, when he was in the first Wimbledon final in 1992. That's when we're going back in time for, okay? So I was a huge Agassi fan at that time in 1992. And Goran is from my hometown, and I'm not going to get into it now, but in any case, he's not only Croatian, but also from the same town as we are. And I was cheering for Agassi in that match. My parents weren't too happy about that, but I was cheering for Agassi, and I was so happy that Agassi won. So when you're a fan of someone, you know, it's like, it's hard. Breakpoint opportunity for Fils right here to sink his teeth into this match. Good body language from Fils too, very positive throughout this match. Didn't appear to let that first set loss bother him too much. He seemed calm and collected. A big serve from Berrettini though to save break point, back to deuce. Monster serve down the tee from Berrettini. Ace off a kick serve toss too. Add in. Yeah, man. This Matteo is serving so well. Not that many chances for Fils on the return games to do anything. Another big serve chip return from Fils. And Fils overcooks the forehand from the half court, very uncharacteristic. Berrettini gets out of a jam on a serve, holds 3-all. Huge hold from Berrettini right there. Check some real quick. Looks like Djokovic-Rinderknecht is winning. Very surprised because I'm personally more interested in the Brooksby match. I love Brooksby. I like the quirky players. Like I like Tatiana Maria on the WTA. I like Brooksby on the ATP. I'm so entertained by these like different types of players with different styles. And I want to see how Sinner handles the quirkiness of Brooksby. They played once. It was back in 2021. Sinner won. So it's going to be very interesting to see. You know, I could cover both, by the way. I could do a dual stream. Maybe I'll do that. Let's put it this way. If the poll is like close enough, within 10% of each other, I'll do a dual stream. I can definitely pull that off now, technically speaking. Fils with another half-court forehand miss, even though this one at 40 love, not as significant as the other one he missed in the previous game. It's a 52-48 right now for Sinner Brooksby. If it stays this close, I'll do both, okay? I'm going to test my technical aptitude. I will try. I will try my best. I've certainly continued to learn something every day. I got some new things that I'm trying to add to the stream. I've not had a chance to set it up yet, but like a soundboard and all that, sound effects. Listen, I'm trying. I'm trying my best. And from 40 love to 40-30, if he's got to be careful here. You don't want to go from 40 love to 40 all. That's a nightmare. What is your favorite food from Croatia? Is it available in Florida or do you make it yourself? That's a great question. So anybody that's from like Croatia or Bosnia or Serbia loves, it's a nice hold right there from Fils, loves cevapi, or they're known as cevapčići. Everybody loves cevapi. Generally, you would eat them in a bread type of thing, a pita bread type of thing called lepinja. And that's available to eat anywhere in Croatia. And it tastes really good. It's a meat, kind of like a sausage-looking meat. It's made out of beef and pork. Now, I've been a vegan for 15 years, but I break my veganism when I go to Croatia at least like once or twice. I did it even last summer, and I will eat cevapi. And so that's actually available here. There's a Serbian restaurant in Miami called Rakija, and they serve cevapi. There's I don't know any other Serbian or Croatian restaurants in this area. Only that one in Miami, and you can get it there. But to be honest with you, the Croatian diet where I'm from, it's a Mediterranean diet. It's a lot of vegetables, and it's a very healthy diet generally. A lot of fish too. Generally not that much meat, less. But this differs from the region you're from in Croatia, so it's a very versatile diet depending on where you find yourself in Croatia. So somebody in Zagreb, they eat different things than they eat in Split, Croatia, for example. So my mom comes here every winter, and she stays for 3 months, and it's a pretty healthy food, and I try to stay vegan, because that's a pretty strong thing that I've been doing for 15 years. So my diet doesn't really differentiate where I am. It's a similar thing. It's a lot of whole grain, vegetables, rice. I try to not eat bread here, but I do eat bread when I'm in Europe because it's just too good. Especially having grown up in Germany, it's like the best bread in the world, And it's so funny you bring that up, Yappa man, because if I remember correctly, you're from the Netherlands, right? And this is completely off topic, so I'll get back to the match in a second, but I go on TikTok all the time, and I saw this guy, American guy, that went to Amsterdam, and he did like a minute-long TikTok on how horrendous the food is in the Netherlands. And everybody in the comments section was agreeing with him, and there were like literally, I don't know, 20,000 comments. Like this blew up, this post. Nice hold there from Berrettini. He's serving well in this match. Like it's a rock solid hold right there to love. 4-all in the second set. Berrettini won the first. So that got me so upset. This post, this guy was bashing the food in the Netherlands. Because I grew up in Germany, close to the Netherlands border, and we used to go to Enschede to buy food. Albert Heijn grocery store, way better than any German grocery store. So much incredible variety. You can buy like 20 different kinds of potatoes and stuff in that particular one where we were at. I mean, look, like a big variety of foods and a very versatile cuisine from all over the world. Best cheese in the world, in my opinion, and just like interesting fish, But the thing about Netherlands is like you go into these different stores and they have these foods that are like, I don't know, they're like in these microwave looking things that I don't know, they're in these containers in the store, and there are all these different type of fried foods. So maybe this guy was referring to that, but they got me very upset, Yappa man, because the food in the Netherlands is like 1,000,000 times better than the average food in the United States. It's like no contest, But let's lock in back on the match. And we got Fils serving at 4-all, 15-all. You got to be careful here with that double fault. You don't want to hiccup right here. Goran looking concerned. If he loses his serve here, I don't think Berrettini is going to lose serving for the set. So it's a crucial right here. He locks in, finds his best tennis. That's a big serve right there from Fils, 30-15. He was eating tourist trap spots, 100%, yeah. No, he wasn't for the Netherlands. He was an American guy. 100% he was eating tourist trap foods, Another big serve from Fils, 40-15. Pulled out a couple of monster serves when he needed them the most. I got a feeling like if Fils somehow wins, there's an ace out wide. The great hold there from Fils. If he wins this set, potentially in a tiebreak, I feel like Fils opens up his game and wins the next 2 sets more comfortably. But you never know. Not necessarily. This is grass after all. And if Berrettini continues to serve like this, it's going to be tough to break him. But I'm still leaning towards Fils in this one. I don't know. I just got a feeling he's going to pull through here. And I know I have not tried any Polish food. Is that the sausage? pierogi. I'm not even saying it right. Is that the sausage thing? I might have tried that once, I think. But I've never been to Poland, actually. You know, one of the reasons why I got a feeling towards Fils is because his body language looks quite good. Even though he's down, it's like Sinner in that match against Kecmanovic. At no point did Sinner look concerned out there, even when he was down 2-1. Like, he looked very confident. And I got kind of a similar feeling with Fils, but we shall see. And there's Love 15, forces that forehand error from Berrettini. That forehand from Fils is so dangerous. It's such a heavy ball, you know, a lot of penetration, a lot of RPM. Difficult to handle, especially when it goes deeper into the court. Of course, that type of forehand is less effective on grass than on other surfaces. I will say that. That's one possible reason why Casper Ruud has had horrible results on grass. Never made it past the second round. He has the second heaviest forehand on the ATP Tour after Fils. And it's just not as effective on grass as it is on clay, of course, and then even on gritty hard courts. Because the grass doesn't give you much off that type of forehand. We want the ball to bounce high and react off the ground. It doesn't do it to the same extent on grass. So, you know, of course, when we're talking about heavy forehands with these guys, they don't just have one type of forehand. They can mix their forehands up. So, of course, someone like Fils can flatten his forehand out. And, of course, he also has other attributes, such as a huge serve and a much improved backhand that's very flat to the backhand. So it's not all about his forehand. But the biggest weapon that he has is, to some extent, a little bit neutralized. So for those reasons, I do believe the grass is Fils' worst surface. That poll is deadlocked at 50-50. Okay, it sounds like a dual stream incoming. And again, he puts a lot of pressure with that forehand on Berrettini. It's 40-30. Oh my goodness. Kenin up a break on Anisimova in the third. I should have live streamed that. But it started, they were like already into it. They were already deep in the first set when I ended the Ala joint. But that's a great match right there. Kenin, Anisimova. It's a very local match here, Florida match. A lot of similarities there. They grew up in the same area. Both have Russian heritage. Both grew up in the same area here in Florida, Southeast Florida. And Matteo, with, like I said before, the guy has unbelievable hands. The softest hands from a guy that's also can, like, you know, break your hand with the handshake, it appears. Like an unbelievably strong guy that also has soft hands. Like, it's unbelievable, this guy. So talented. A nice little half volley drop shot. Hold serve, 5-all. Kenin 3-1 in the third set against Anisimova, last year's finalist. Anisimova has had a rough season so far. We're going to keep an eye out on that match, guys, as we watch this. This is going to be a very, very concerning loss for Anisimova if she loses to Kenin, because Kenin deserves a whole segment to herself. Australian Open champion, and, you know, looking for her game for a long time now. Great rally here. Fils covering a lot of ground. 15-all. Berrettini really opening up the court there. That's a nice forehand slice by Berrettini too. Hit that in right here in this corner, right here. That's where he hit that forehand slice with a very steep trajectory and turned into a very offensive shot. It's one of those examples where a slice can be very aggressive. Backhand return from Berrettini, pretty good one. That's probably Berrettini's biggest weakness, I would say, is the return of serve. Especially on the backhand side, but you know, he's got that chip, which is not so bad, right? But the backhand doesn't have that much power, relatively speaking, the two-handed backhand of Berrettini. It's not that powerful of a shot relative to other backhands on tour. It always seems to me like he's got too much spin on that two-hander. Inside in forehand from Berrettini, very aggressive. And Fils cannot get the ball back in play. 15-40, guys. 15-40. 2 break points for Berrettini. Can you believe it? I miss Albert Heijn a lot. I'll be honest with you. You guys, that store has so many good things. Like the Dutch mayonnaise is the best mayonnaise in the world. Because the fat to egg ratio is different in that one. Way more fat than egg. And Fils sprays another half-court forehand long. He's missed, I counted 3 half-court forehands in this match, and this one hurts the most because it came on break point. Berrettini up a set and a break. Up a set and a break. This is brutal. You know what else I miss, Yappa man? And this is something I do with my daughter. So this is the weirdest thing. So Starbucks is from the United States, from Seattle, right? But in Europe, they make these little refrigerated Starbucks drinks that are like flavored coffee. You know, they have like a latte and stuff like that. And in Germany or in other countries, they'll give you like maybe 3-4 different flavors. You can get like a cappuccino, you can get latte, you can get, I don't know. You get 3-4 different flavors. But at Albert Heijn, that's why it's the best grocery store in the world. 10 different flavors of Starbucks refrigerated. By the way, not available in the United States for some reason. I don't know. It's just a European thing. 10 different flavors, even a vegan one, like an oat milk one. So that's why I love Albert Heijn. You go in there, and please don't send me a box of mayonnaise. I'm vegan, remember? This is when I fall off my veganism when I go to Europe. I get into a dark place there, in a deep dark hole, diet-wise. So no, don't send any mayonnaise, please. But anyway, yeah, Albert Heijn. My daughter and I love to go there. Berrettini serving for the set. 6-5 in a second. Big serve down the tee. Forehand inside out from Berrettini. Really putting a lot of pressure on Fils. Ripping into the backhand corner. Draws another error. Fils is very angry. He's staring at Ivanišević. Looking helpless down there. 15-love. You know what it's been? Like I said, in a mid-second set. Oh, my leg. Man, that hurts. It's just that the forehand is not as effective on grass as it is on other surfaces. I really think so. It doesn't have the same impact that it had on clay, for example, on those hardcore tournaments. You know, that's really, I really believe that to be true. It's not that big of a difference, but enough of a difference for Fils to be not quite as good on grass. 15-all. Anisimova really fighting to hold serve there, down 3-1 in the third. Game point. It's been a very long game. Nick, are you a good cook? Look, I learned to cook when I became vegan about, I don't know what year it was, a long time ago, 15 years ago, something like that. That's why I started to learn how to cook, but prior to that, I did not know how to cook. But since then, I've gotten quite good. But I only know how to cook vegan food, you know? Yeah. Big forehand from Berrettini into the backhand corner of Fils. Backhand slice from Berrettini. Forehand into the forehand side. Another slice from Berrettini. Slice from Fils. Slice from Berrettini again, but he sprays it wide. 15-30. That happens to me all the time. I go cross court with my slice and I miss it wide. I wanna go crazy when it happens. It just sails on you wide. It happened to Berrettini right there. Frustrating miss because slice, you know, you're not really risking, you know, it's not a risky shot. You're just trying to get it in, get it low. And when you miss it long or wide, you wanna rip your hair out. Very frustrating miss. Random tennis gal. I had a feeling Fils was going to take this one, I'll be honest. I even said that in the second set when it was down, but I don't know anymore. I mean, coming back from 2 sets to love is tough. He's got to get a break right here. Slice from Berrettini down the line. Forehand cross court. You see what I mean? Like, Fils deciding to slice a forehand. When do you see that? I mean, he wasn't in that much trouble there. And he misses the slice forehand too, which is also very frustrating, right? Like, it's not a risk shot. You're trying to get the ball in with slice and you still miss it. It's very frustrating. But yeah, the forehand not as effective for Fils in this match. And I think that's a surface-dependent thing. 30 all. Second serve for Berrettini. And there's a break point opportunity for Fils. Unforced error from Berrettini at the worst possible time. Oh no, that's insane. Oh my God. Wow, he was so fortunate with the return. Made a nightmarish little return, lucky one. Berrettini gets to it. It's like a chip return that shouldn't have even gone in. Turns into a drop shot return. Berrettini gets there, angles the forehand off. Fils had the entire court to play into, goes down the line, but Berrettini was guessing correctly and it was already moving to that shot, and Fils dumps the forehand into the net. Very uncharacteristic mistake from Fils. Big serve from Berrettini down the tee as set point. Those Starbucks drinks are mostly milk and sugar with a bit of coffee, making iced coffee. Yeah, of course, those are horrible for you. I didn't say they were good for you. Those drinks are terrible for you, those Starbucks drinks. It's like drinking more like a shake, not a shake, but like it's not really coffee. You don't really taste the coffee, but my daughter loves those, so you know. She's one of those kids that gets those insane drinks even here in the United States from Starbucks, those frappuccinos and stuff like that. I actually quit coffee, but when I drink coffee, it's always black, nothing in it. Oh no. Oh my God. What a few points from Berrettini there. Hits a let court on set point, and Fils overhits long. There's a set for Berrettini, up 2 sets to love against Fils. That's really, really crazy. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting, guys. Okay, a little timeout. I need to switch the TV to the Anisimova match because they keep going back and forth on the footage, so I need to put it on the stream on the TV. So just give me 1 second, okay? I'll be right back. Be right back, guys. All right, we're back. We're back, guys. 3-all. Anisimova came back from 1-3 to 3-all. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. What's going on here? Fils can't believe it. He's staring at Ivanišević. You can't believe it. You can't believe the bad luck. You know, he's thinking it's bad luck, but then, you know, it's the tennis equilibrium. He shouldn't have made that return either, though. That return that almost turned into a drop shot either. So, you know, it's you always got to look at it both ways. It's unlikely that you're going to lose a match because of luck. I mean, you can, of course, but over the course of many matches, luck is not really that much of a factor. I gotta know what's going on with this thing here. Hold on. All right, never mind. They're putting it on the Anisimova. I hope it'll stay there. It's 40-15. Nice turnaround for Anisimova there. Fils serving first. In the third, 15-love. He's going to have to dig very deep in this one. And Yapman says Fils never won a match after being down 2-love, I guess. Well, he's going to have to do it here. It's going to be very difficult. Big serve from Fils there, out wide, 30-15. (40-15). Ace down the tee and a good hold there from Fils. And again, he's interactive with the box there, shaking his head. He cannot believe he's down 2-love, Arthur Fils. Fils is not overrated. Stop it. This is an exceptional player. It's just that, as I explained in this stream, the grass is not his best surface. His forehand, because it's so heavy, it's least effective on grass out of all surfaces. So this guy is top 5 caliber player. And I do think he'll get there if he can stay healthy. That's the #1 thing with Fils. If he can stay healthy and not have to take off like half a season or a full season almost. He didn't play anything since Rome last year, and then this year had to take off between Rome and Wimbledon. So it's just too unfortunate. Had a look there for a backhand pass, Fils, but didn't get there quickly enough. 15 love. Anisimova back on serve 4-3 in the second set. $30 love. Swing volley winner from Berrettini, 40 love. Unknown, I'll get into your question there. You bring up a very good point, adjusting due to the surface. That's an excellent point. I'm going to get into that in a second. I got to fix something here. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, let's get into this whole overrated thing. But first, before we get into tennis jazz, I thought it was funny, that song, but it starts good, but then it gets kind of irritating. So I'm going to change it. That's a nice forehand there for Fils, 15 love. But let's get into this. It's very interesting. And I already talked about it to some extent, but it doesn't hurt to remind it. So unknown PT7XE said that Fils is the most overrated Frenchman since Tsonga. So Tsonga wasn't overrated. Tsonga played in the Big Three era and, Big Four era, actually, initially. You had to come through these guys consecutively, which was an impossibility. So Tsonga is a fantastic player. And Fils is as well. So I then answered that by saying that the forehand, as I've discussed previously, I'm not going to get into it now, but the forehand is least effective on grass for Fils. And then Unknown said, but aren't we just excusing a lack of adaptation onto grass? Adjusting the swing is part of being an all-court champ. So here's the thing. All players are able to hit in many different ways, all of them. So when people say like, oh, WTA players don't know how to hit a kick serve, nonsense. WTA players, they know how to hit all serves, even kick serve, but it's what comes most natural to them, what's most intuitive for them, that's what they'll stick with. So in Fis's case, he can flatten the forehand out, he can hit the forehand in different ways, but it's the most intuitive way for him to hit. His strength, like when he doesn't think about it, he just rips. Forehand is naturally, intuitively, it's heavy. So this prevents him from playing his best game. Now you could make the argument that he could put in a lot of work and alter his game for the grass and put in a lot of practice time to change his technique, and that could certainly be a dangerous thing because it might impact his game for other surfaces. So it's a lot easier said than done to just adapt your game for different surfaces. Of course, there are some players who are just versatile and can hit in different ways. The most versatile player on the ATP Tour is Carlos Alcaraz. He can hit so many different type of forehands with absolutely no problem. That's natural for him. He can hit it high, he can hit it angled, he can hit it flat and long and strong. Actually, Alexandra Ayala is like that too on her forehand. Very versatile forehand. So some players just naturally are more versatile, other players are not. I don't think Sinner's forehand is that versatile, to be honest with you. It's like it's heavy RPM, but it's low trajectory, right? And it applies to all surfaces. It adapts to all surfaces quite well because it's a high percentage shot, but it's a low trajectory shot. So that's the problem for Fils, but it doesn't mean that he can't have a good result on grass. He certainly can. He can maybe even go deep here, but can he be a Wimbledon champion? I have my doubts that he can do that. I have my big doubts that he can do that for that reason. But I said this many times. He has the best chance to win Roland Garros out of any French player since Yannick Noah. That's how highly I regard Arthur Fils on clay. Will it happen? It's going to be unbelievably hard because you got to come through Zverev, Alcaraz, Sinner to do so, and Djokovic probably for another year. But I think he could theoretically do it, pull it off. And it's just what a missed opportunity this year, huh? Because he was, if you remember, drawn to play Zverev in the 4th round this year. Now remember how well he was playing prior to Rome, where he got hurt against Pellegrino. He was playing incredible. Won Barcelona, semis. Madrid didn't play good against Sinner that match, but Sinner was out. And if he would have come through Zverev in the 4th round with the help of the crowd, Fils could have won Roland Garros this year. He could have won this year Roland Garros instead of Zverev. So don't call this guy overrated. Don't say that about players. Don't call Ben Shelton overrated. Ben Shelton has earned his name in the game of tennis. He won 3 titles this year, semis US Open. He's won a Masters 1000 last year. There's nothing overrated about that. Nobody's overrating it. We're simply saying that this guy has potential to do big things, which is a correct statement, Ben Shelton. And same with Fils. These guys have the potential, the game that's strong enough, powerful enough to challenge the top guys, potentially, while there's other players where you can't say that. The game is just not big enough to ever be able to do that. You know? You could even make that argument for Zverev and the Sinner head-to-head. There's just limitations there that make it, you know, very unlikely that Zverev can beat Sinner in a Grand Slam. But for guys like Fils and Shelton, it's right now the same story, that they're going to lose to Sinner as well in straight sets. But maybe with some adjustments to their game, a continued improvement, maybe down the road they could potentially do something. Unfortunately, Shelton has gone backwards a little bit in the most important tournaments. I'm so surprised that this has happened this year, because prior to this year, I thought that I thought that Shelton played his best tennis at the most important tournaments, and that kind of flip-flopped this year. He's playing his best tennis at the 500 level or the 250 level, and he's played his worst tennis at the Grand Slam. So it's, I don't know, he's going backwards. He's got a lot of things to work on, Ben Shelton. It's 30 all on the Berrettini serve. Let's see if Fils can do something right here. And yes, he can. Here's the breakpoint opportunity. Berrettini dumps a forehand into the net. 30-40. Five all, Kenin on the Samova. That thing is a banger. I was trying to set up my thing, but something's wrong with my TV here. I don't really watch TV, especially on my Apple TV here. So I'm gonna hop off and get my other iPad and turn that match on. Oh no, Berrettini misses an angled forehand volley dropper. Uncharacteristic. He doesn't miss those usually. And there's the break for Fils. He still believes that he can do it. Up a break in the 3rd set, 3-1. What happened to Elina Svitolina at Wimbledon? I don't know. First round loss to Snegur. who's a very quirky player, very quirky. On grass, that can be a nightmare opponent. Well, unknown. I didn't say that versatility isn't super important. I said versatility within one single stroke, right? It's kind of a complex thing, but the fact that Sinner has improved his drop shots, his volleys, his backhand slice, certainly that's going to be an advantage, especially on grass. I mean, look how many drop shots Sinner is hitting. I think it's helping him, you know? It's just a different layer to his game and makes him more unpredictable. So I think versatility is super important, especially on grass. I just meant like the versatility within one single shot, to have that naturally be your way to play. That's rare. In a perfect world, we all would want to be Carlos Alcaraz and hit all types of forehands with our eyes closed, but that's not the reality for most players. And it certainly isn't the reality for Berrettini Fils or Sinner. They're a little bit more like one way with the forehand. Within the context of hitting at different heights and stuff like that, I mean, all players can do that, certainly. Like I said in the beginning when I started explaining this, it's not that like these players can hit it high, low, whatever they want, but when they're like not thinking and they're just ripping, a lot of players there's just one way. They're intuitively preferred to hit the ball, you know? And with Alcaraz, it's intuitively different in many different ways. And that's what makes him so fun to watch. And we need Carlitos back in the game so you can watch that. Because the guy will like hit the hardest forehands you've ever seen, and then he'll hit one angled cross court, he'll loop one and start playing like an old school Spanish clay quarter, and this got then the drop shots. It's so fun to watch, right? So we need Carlitos back in the game quickly. And Fils back to deuce from 40-15. Hold on a second, what's going on here? There we go. Unknown PT7XE. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. That's a really good question. Got me thinking, you know, led to some interesting thoughts. That's how I view tennis, you know what I mean? I want to learn. I want to think about it differently and think about it in more complex ways to try to understand how it all works, you know what I mean? But it starts with like just observing and watching and try to collect as much information as possible. Break chance for Berrettini to get back on service. Very surprising here. Dumps the forehand into the net. Fils pumps himself up. This would have been a big bummer to break and then only to lose your serve immediately after. That's the worst thing for a tennis player, to break and then only to just give it right back. That's like the worst. That or losing your serve after being up 40-love. Like that's really, it kills you like mentally. You get very upset, very angry, rightfully so. It's very frustrating. So you want to prevent that from happening, you know, and do the right things mentally. Ace from Fils there. The ball catches by less than a millimeter. Add in. Kick serve Fils, and here's that forehand. Inside in, very strong, and Berrettini gets it back. Fils did not expect Berrettini to get there so quick, but he knocks off that half volley with the backhand, and he holds serve up 4-1 in the second set. Kenin 40-15, down 6-5. That match is fun. That's a fun match right there. What happened to Kenin, I have no explanation for. I've thought about this so much. How you can go from like being top 5 Grand Slam champion So like floating around between 50 and 100 in the world. It's so hard to understand. But here she is with the chance to take out last year's finalist, Anisimova. They're in a third set tiebreak, 10-point match tiebreak. Anisimova serving first. And she's up 1-love. This is a very important win for Anisimova right here. A very important match, I mean. If she doesn't win this, this could have a very bad effect. For a multitude of reasons. Good forehand return from Fils right there. And a down the line forehand winner, love 15. Mini break for Anisimova, 2-love. Big serve there from Berrettini right on the center of the box. 15-all. To 1 Anisimova in the tiebreak, up a mini break. And Fils 15-30 on the Berrettini serve. With a mini window here to get up 2 breaks in this third set. Cannon hits the return long. 4-1 Anisimova. And 15-40. 2 breakpoint chances for Fils to go up 2 breaks. Oh yeah, the upper man. Ivar is great. They have good Ivar there at Albert Heijn. But we can, that's another thing we can buy here actually. I forgot to mention that. There are some Balkan stores here. They're all over actually. We have many of them because there's a lot of Russians, for example, live here in this area or in Miami, and there's a lot of Russian stores that sell Balkan food. Let's put it that way. There's a ton of Russian grocery stores, and you find Balkan foods in there. So Ivar is easy to buy here. It's very good. Big serving there from Berrettini, goes back to deuce. Ivar is what you put on the cevapcici in the lepinja. It's very good. It's very good. If I go to Croatia this year, I will have it once. Second serve from Berrettini. Let's see if Fils can be aggressive on this return. It's a 118-mile-an-hour second serve ace from Berrettini. Add in. I did a kick serve video in 2022, I think, or 2023, and at that time, Berrettini had the fastest second serve on tour. it was 100-mile-an-hour second serve average. So his second serve, one of the best second serves in the world still, I would say, Berrettini. Anna, I'm going to answer your question. Berrettini holds 4-2, and Anisimova 7-2 in a match tiebreak. Looks like she's going to come through this one. Anna says, do people swim with ease in Florida water, so worried about alligators? Alligators they don't go into salt water. They're just in freshwater alligators. However, we do have the Florida crocodile. Maybe not here where I live in Palm Beach County, but in Broward, in Pompano, I saw there was an alligator there, and they go into salt water. But they're not as aggressive as the alligators you'll find in Australia or Africa. There's not been a single attack of a Florida crocodile of a human, right? So you'll see most of them actually in Coral Gables, like South Miami area, a lot of American crocodiles. But the Florida alligator is not something you want to mess with. They are pretty chill. You see a ton of them, by the way. There are tons of them. Tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of them. Maybe even more, I don't know. There's one lake in Orlando where they take nuisance alligators, Lake Jessup, I think. There's just in that one lake, there are over 10,000 alligators. So alligator is not something you want to mess with, but they're not in the salt water, not in the ocean, they're in the fresh water. And you don't want to mess with those guys because, I don't know, they can rip your arm off, rip your leg off, you know. You bleed out, or they drag you on the water and you drown. Like, you don't want to mess with those guys. Drop shot error from Fils, 30-all. Now, this would be very frustrating for him to be close to a double break and end up being on serve on Anisimova 1. Second serve, 30-all. Good backhand return from Berrettini. Backhand slice. Slice backhand from Fils. And Fils gets pumped up off that forehand error from Berrettini, 40-30. That's a very important win for Anisimova right there. That would have hurt so much losing to Kenin in the second round of Wimbledon. At this stage, Kenin, you know, Kenin from a few years ago would be a different loss, but that's a big hold right there from Arthur Fils. Saves break point. Hold serve, 5-2, third set. Hitting up a lot of different topics in this match. You know, mayonnaise, grocery stores in Holland, out of all places. Not Holland, Netherlands, out of all places. And alligators, crocodiles, different topics. Why not? Why not hit up some different topics, guys? But in all seriousness, I try to lock in as much as I can, because when you're thinking about something else, you lose track of the match. Zverev with a very comfortable win, straight sets, looking good so far. Will Berrettini raise his level and have a better chance next set? Impossible to predict, but you know, several things can happen in a situation like this. You can make the argument that if Fils wins this set, he's going to open up his game and play even better and blaze through the next couple of sets. You could make that argument. Or you can make the argument that there will be a momentum shift, a quick one early in the fourth, something like that. or it could be a tight situation where, you know, they're going to a tiebreak. There could be many different things that happen. It becomes impossible to predict, but certainly it's very difficult to come back from 2 sets to love because each set provides these challenges to you. You have to keep your intensity and your concentration sky high in early stages of the fourth and the fifth, where the danger of a momentum shift is quite high. So that's why it's so difficult to come back 2 sets to love down. But not impossible. So Fils certainly can win this match. But again, if Matteo does the right things, if he plays the right way, he's got a great chance here. I think it's crucial here to hold serve first and foremost, so you can serve first in the fourth set and keep the pressure on Fils when we get to tight situations like, you know, 4-3, 5-4, 6-5, where it's Fils trying to serve to stay in the match. That would be a big advantage. So you start right here to work on that by holding serve, which it looks like that he will be able to do. 30-love, 40-love. Now, of course, you can break back too. It's not like you're conceding the set at 5-3. You're going to try your best to break back, but that's what Berrettini needs to do. Will you live stream Croatia versus Portugal today? Very funny. Very funny. I wouldn't know what to say. I don't know anything about football. Nothing. Did you see what Block said in a podcast about Zverev forehand? No, what did he say? Tell me. Very good combo of shots there. Wide serve from Fils and a rip backhand cross court. Draws the slice error from Berrettini. 15-love. Another great backhand from Fils, this time for a down-the-line winner off a kick serve. 30-love. Monster forehand from Fils. Another monster forehand. And Berrettini tries to get the ball back and play with one arm. Over hits it long, 40-love. 3 set points for Fils. Arthur for sure is playing more aggressive, the upper man. Yes, the forehand is more aggressive than it was in the first 2 sets. I agree 100%. Second serve. Double fault. Nick, how do you go into a match you are favored to lose like anyone playing center, i.e. Brooksby? Well, that's a great question. First and foremost, you have to be delusional a little bit and go in there to win. And that sounds weird, I know, but players don't always go into matches to win. They don't. They might tell you, yeah, I'm going there to win, but if they dig deep inside, they don't. They don't have the belief that they can win. And when you have that, you have zero chance to win. There's a set for Fils. We're going 4. Much better set from Arthur Fils. Going to be interested to see what happens in the 4th set. But yeah, if you don't go in there with the delusion that you can win, even if you're like someone first round of a Grand Slam, you come out of the qualies, or you're ranked low and you're playing, you know, Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic first round, and you have to be delusional. And you're still not going to win. But that might be the difference of you when losing like 3, 4, and 3, or losing 1, 1, and 0, or something like that. So you have to go in there to win. That's what you got to do, and it's easier said than done, and it's very complex actually. It's not so easy to explain. Jeff, what did Block say, man? Don't tease us. What did he say? What did Block say about Zverev's forehand? Do you think Rinderknecht will put up a fight in tomorrow's match against Djokovic? Yeah, I think so. I think he's got a big serve. It could be tough. One of the best serves on tour, actually, Rinderknecht. So if he catches a good serving day, if he's not serving well, it might be pretty straightforward for Djokovic. I don't think they never played each other, so that's an advantage for Rinderknecht. Maybe it'll take Djokovic a couple of sets to figure him out. So I expect a tight match there. Madison Keys with a very comfortable straight set victory. Jeff, you're going to force me to go watch that Blocks interview, which I don't have time for to watch. What did he say about Zverev's forehand? All right, guys, since it's a little bit of a break here, I think Berrettini went off the court to change his clothes. Let's take a look at the results from the outside courts. We'll take a look at what's been happening on the outside courts. All right. So we still got a match after this one, McNally and Rybakina. Rybakina has been far from her best in this grass court season. Even lost a set in a first round match. So I'd give McNally a chance to make a tight match out of that one. Menchik and Dimitrov will start soon. Fritz very comfortably took out Kipson. Hodar, 5-set win against Karina Busta, very strong. Very strong victory there. Anisimova, we already watched that. Tiafoe is going to play today. Paolini will play Golubic. I did watch De Minaur. He played well against Manarino. Very comfortable win. 3-2-2. Alex has had a rough year. This is the worst I've seen him play in a very, very long time. Maybe he can turn it around. And he's been very frustrated with his game. And he's very open about his tennis. And he said after losing to, who did he lose to? Menchik at Roland Garros, yeah, where he won the first set 6-0, I think, and then lost in 4 sets. And this was after Menchik had taken out Navona and was like collapsed after the match point, remember? A super long match in the heat. And De Minaur played him after that match, so he had a huge advantage because Menchik was very exhausted. So De Minaur said, I took my foot off the gas in the second set early, and that's not what I normally do. He's the type of guy that plays every single point in a match Doesn't really let off. Big fighter, high energy player, high intensity player. And not only did he say he did that in that particular match, but it's been happening all season long. So it's weird what's been happening with Alex. And then he played well in Hertogenbosch, made the final, but lost a tough match against Maishak. That was a tough loss, 7-6 in the third. And Maishak got his first title as a great grass court player. He's still in the tournament here, I think. So Alex been struggling this year. So maybe he can do a good result here and turn the season around. We shall see. Iyala we already covered. We live streamed that one. That was a really fun match to watch. Iyala played phenomenally well. Duckworth and Koboli, they're in the third on serve, I think. One set apiece, tied. Noskova will play after them. Samsonova beat Schneider. Struff won 7-6 in the fifth. Munar up 2 sets to love against Fernley. And Arthur Ferry beat Otto Virtanen in 4 sets, the guy that took out Shelton. Bublik will play later today as well. Kristea will play later. Kostyuk won in 3 sets against Blinkova. And Molchan and Lehechka just started. So that's the matches from today, guys. A lot going on the grounds at Wimbledon. Berrettini is back in the house. Okay, somebody answered what happened here with the... Oh, here's Jeff. Okay, Jeff, thank you. Block says Zverev forehand is very underrated and it does so much damage. He couldn't do anything about it. He said it compared to Yannick, Zverev forehand has so much mass. I mean, I'm so glad you bring that up, Jeff. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you tell me this because I didn't know this. But I've been saying this for a couple of years now about the Zverev forehand because they're like people that watch tennis on TV and that like to troll and they're very active on Reddit and stuff like that. They'll say the most horrendous things about the Zverev forehand, like he pushes the forehand, he has no forehand, the forehand is so bad. Even in my own comment sections, very, very frequently I read something like that. And I've always come in defense of the Zverev tennis because the forehand is incredibly good. Is it as good as Sinner Alcaraz? No. But what Blocks is saying, you should listen to it. And there's somebody saying it's the Lulu from Blocks. This is so ingrained in people's heads that Zverev has a horrible forehand. Even the fact that Blocks said it, how good the forehand is, people will continue to write that it's awful, that it's a moonball forehand, it's a pusher forehand and stuff like that. And it's similar to... I don't want to make the comparison to Coco because it's a completely different type of forehand, different technique, different style. But the problem is that sometimes Zverev, goes for more safety. It's very complex. I don't really want to talk about Zverev. I want to focus on this match and not lose track. But just picture Zverev playing Nadal. Not even that match where he rolled his ankle, but the one in 2024, how hard he was hitting the forehand, how penetrating it was. Like the forehand it's incredibly good. So I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff. I appreciate that. The accurate statement with Zverev's forehand is that it sometimes can be a tad tentative. If you said that, that would be an accurate statement. But that doesn't mean that the forehand is bad or defensive or anything like that. It's very match dependent. And I'm certainly against Blocks in those matches that Zverev was dominating. He destroyed him in Rome. In Madrid, I think there was one set that was a little bit tight, maybe. I don't remember. It was straight sets in Madrid, straight sets in Rome. And then, the very tight first round match here in Wimbledon. So... I'm sure Blocks is telling you the truth. Why would he make up something like that? Like he's telling you his experience of playing Zverev, the forehand was strong. He had a hard time against it, and I believe it. Does this translate to Zverev's forehand across all matches, all surfaces, all circumstances? No, but in any case, let's lock back in on this. And Fils deuce on the Berrettini serve. Can he like continue to, you know, shift the momentum over to his side and get the early break in the fourth? Second serve from Berrettini. Forehand goes down the line. Fils with the slice. It's a half-court forehand that he slices back. You know, Goran going to be like angry in the box at that shot. Yeah, that's a half-court forehand, and Fils slices. He recognized it too late. He got late. He was late to that ball. There was an opportunity missed right there. Add in. Great return from Fils there with the backhand into the backhand of Berrettini, who hits the backhand with two hands. And a lot of you guys might be aware that Berrettini's two-handed backhand is relatively weak compared to the top level. You know, which, again, it needs a little bit of a further explanation. No, it doesn't mean that Berrettini's backhand is like, it's horrendous or anything like that. It's just not as strong as like what you see at the top of the game, and it's for that reason that he slices a lot. In my opinion, it's too spinny, the backhand. Doesn't penetrate through the court enough. The Berrettini two-hander. And another half-court miss from Fils. You know, that's a shot that I've seen a lot of guys miss, including Sinner, is that forehand off a chip that lands short around the service line. A lot of guys have been making a mess out of that shot, including Fils. Explanation there could be that the ball is bouncing very low. You know, you have to get down and put a lot of spin on it, and you have to be more measured in your shot speed and not overhit. Berrettini with the monster hold right there. What a huge hold. I mean, that was so important. Nick, why do you think so many players who dedicate their career to tennis don't make it Challenger or ATP like Felix Mishker at the moment? Why do you think so many players who dedicate their career to tennis don't make it to Challengers or ATP? Listen, there's just so many. That's like, you're literally talking about thousands upon thousands of players. And maybe tens of thousands of players who start playing tennis as a kid, and they play juniors, and they're dedicating their entire life to tennis. They're playing tennis all day long. They're going to tournaments 2, 3, 4 times a month. And they're doing that nonstop. Maybe they go off to play college tennis. Maybe they start playing futures. They dedicate their entire life to tennis, and it's just not, they just don't make it for a variety of reasons. They don't make it. I could make a 2-hour video on this. You need a lot of qualities to make it to that level, and there's only so many spots at that level. I did make a great video that I recommend you watch, Tennis Levels Explained, and I drew a pyramid, and I give you stats of how many people play tennis and what the percentage is of all tennis players, the ones that make it to that level. I recommend you watch that video. Just type in Intuitive Tennis, Tennis Levels Explained, and it's a good video. It taps into this subject a little bit. Big serve from Fils right there, 40-15. This might be a long one, guys. We might be in here for a while. It's a nice backhand return from Berrettini, one of the best two-handed backhand returns I've seen him hit today. Went way deeper there and was able to push Fils backwards and force the error. 40-30. Drop shot from Berrettini, very good. And his feel is so off the charts, Berrettini's. It's so good. He's got the softest hands ever. What a backhand drop shot there. Incredible. Berrettini can lock in right here, manufacture this break with a lot of grit. And that'd be something else. Big serve though from Fils. That's a big time serve right there on 40 all. Add in. Random tennis gal. Yeah, Bergs. I wanted to actually talk about him because he won that tournament in was Eastbourne, right? He won Eastbourne. It's a big hold right there from Fils. I'm going to get my draw in a second. I had to hide my draw because Simone was eating it up. And also go through, I'll use this opportunity to go through how many I got right, how many I got wrong in the first round. And we're going to take a look at where Bergs is and a draw. But yeah, he's playing incredibly well. And he's a player that's going to have a breakthrough soon. One of the best matches of 2025 was his Davis Cup loss to Kuboli. That was some match, that insane tiebreak they played. Love 15. That's a loose ball error right there from Berrettini. Kathy Murdoch, what happened to Berrettini? Was he injured? We haven't seen him for ages. Yes, constantly injured. But he was in a quarterfinals of Roland Garros, remember? He played Arnaldi and had to withdraw because of a hip problem in the second set. But he made the quarters of Roland Garros this year. And then had to, again, had to take time off and didn't play anything until this tournament. Can Sinner win Wimbledon? Your opinion? I picked him to win. Check my prediction video. I state why I think so. Yes, I got Sinner winning the whole thing. Another forehand error from Berrettini here. This could be costly. This could be costly right here. 15-30. Forehand slice from Berrettini. It's a lot of side spin. Forehand inside in from Berrettini. Forehand drop shot from Berrettini. Oh my God. What feel this guy has is like insane, Berrettini. That forehand drop shot was so good. Wow, that's Alcaraz level feel on the forehand dropper. I'll make that comparison. That's how good the feel is of Berrettini. Take a look at this. Forehand inside in. And look at this. Look how soft he hits that thing. It's just like whoop. And the ball just like this far from the net. Incredible. 30-all. And to do that at 15-30, you know, under pressure, to be able to pull off something like that, very impressive. 40-30. Third forehand miss in this game from Berrettini, though, off a slice backhand from Fils. And we're back to deuce. Do I know Cam from Tennis Talk? You mean like personally? I think we talked once. I don't remember. Yeah, we might have talked once. Of course I know Cam, yeah. Like, I know who he is, but I don't know him. He's doing amazingly well on YouTube with the live streams. He's like the king of the live stream. He's the absolute master. Add in. And can this be another gritty hold from Berrettini? Oh, wow. Holds again. Holds again in a gritty way. This could pay dividends, but you can make arguments for it to backfire as well. You know, that's why tennis is so crazy. Do you think Fils will push for a fifth based on momentum and fatigue? It's so hard to say. Like, I had a good feeling about Fils this whole match, so I still got a feeling that he's going to win this somehow. Just a gut feeling, I don't know. But Berrettini, like, holding these serves, staying alive in this fourth set, like, can he put pressure? He had chance there in that last service game of Fils. Not a break point, but a chance. So I don't know what'll happen. I don't know. Okay, let me get my draw real quick. I'll be right back, guys. 1 sec, okay? insane jazz music, guys. So this is going to be changed tonight. My apologies. Love 30 on the Fils serve. How about that? 15-30 now. And a second serve. Big opportunity for Matteo right here. Oh, he gets a backhand return, clips the net, and Fils overhits. 15-40. Fortunate return there from Matteo. And again, Fils has made quite a few mistakes in the mid-court, in the transition shots around the half court have been costing him in this match. Big serve there from Fils. Saves the first break point. One break point left for Berrettini. And there's a break for Berrettini. Off a chip forehand return. Fils sprays the inside in forehand wide. Berrettini 3-1 in the fourth set. Okay, we're going to take a look at this later, the draw. We're going to stay locked in on this fourth set because it's getting interesting now. We're going to take a look later what's happening over here. Well, you asked me about Bergs. Where do I got Bergs? Do I have Bergs losing in the first round? Can't be, right? Yeah, I had Bergs losing in the first round to Humbert because you can't blame me. Humbert on grass. I mean, it's like one of those matches you can go both ways. But yeah, I had him losing in the first round to Humbert, which he didn't. He took out Humbert. 15 love. Dirty love. You know, that's right, the upper man. I forgot they played each other in the final of Eastbourne. I didn't get to see that match, unfortunately. But that's right, they played final of Eastbourne and then first round Wimbledon against each other. How brutal is that? Berrettini, 40 love. And there's a love hold from Berrettini. Wow. Yeah, well, I'll be really honest with you guys. Well, I'm going to go through the draw. We'll discuss it. There was a couple of faux pas in my draw. And they're going to be difficult to explain, but I'll discuss it once this match is over. I'll go over it real quick. Give you guys the stats on the first round. How many I got right, how many I got wrong. Own up to some of the poor choices I've made. Also made a couple of clutch picks, I'm not going to lie. There were some legendary picks even this year. And at the end of the day, it's like not about picking the first rounds correctly. It's about picking the semis and the final correctly. That's where the magic lies. No, I'm just kidding. That's a lot easier to pick. it's virtually impossible to predict the draw. You cannot. The chances of doing that are like the chance of winning the lottery. You just can't. I'm talking about predicting the entire draw correctly. The chances of that happening. 64 matches and then the draw coming to an end and have everything correct? Impossible. Would never happen. Ever. Big serve from Fils right there. 15 love. Even if Fils loses this match, it's nice to see him out here healthy, playing well. I mean, obviously he's not, he's not at his best, but I don't think he necessarily played that bad of a match. Again, like I said before, grass is not his favorite surface. But looking forward, there are a lot of opportunities for Fils for the rest of the season. He's got, first and foremost, no points to defend, so his ranking is going to continue to skyrocket. And if he can find that form that he had prior to getting hurt in Rome, he should be able to finish top 10 this year. And 30-15. Berrettini 2 games away from taking this match. Big forehand there from Fils. 40-15. (40-30). Second serve. There's the backhand from Berrettini, working quite well in this match, the two-hander. The slice, of course, always works, even though he missed that one there. And Fils holds 4-2. Dave, I don't like hybrid string setups. I like just one string, straight up and down, and sideways. Simon, what, do you want the window open? Here. Come on, right here. Okay. You look outside. I tried hybrids. I tried like the gut combo with poly. I tried it all, but I prefer just poly, straight up. Forehand drop shot from Berrettini, very good, but Fils runs it down quickly. It's a little cross-court angle backhand shot, 15 all. Pumping up the crowd, trying to get the energy up for the break. $15 all. Yeah, look, the hybrid, it works really well for a lot of players. Some people love it. I'm personally not that big of a fan of it. Big serve from Berrettini. Fils gets it back in play. Now they're in a rally. And some very strong backhands from Fils. Again, he's getting the crowd involved. Ripping the backhand there. That reminds me of the backhands that he was hitting in Miami, for example. He was absolutely ripping his backhand there in that match against Tommy Paul, remember? Hasn't really hit out on his backhand in this way, like he did in this rally. Maybe it is here where Fils will finally open up his game. Nice chip return there. And Fils slicing the forehand. That is so weird. He's not ripping the forehand though. Look at this, all these forehands landing on the service line. Out. This is so weird. Not a single forehand went past the service line. We're talking about the guy with the heaviest forehand in the world. Not a single forehand went past the service line. And he decided to hit a slice forehand on one of the shots. So that's something to pay attention to. It's very interesting. You know, in this moment, it's a tight moment of the match. He's got 15-30 on the Berrettini serve. Chance to go up a double break, and it's a tense moment, and the forehand is not there. The trust for the forehand is not there right now, which is so interesting. I remember the Alcaraz Fils Monte Carlo quarters 2025. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that match. It was 3 sets. It was a year where Alcaraz beat Musetti in the final. Musetti got hurt in that final. And maybe a bad bounce there. Fils misses a slice into the net, 40-30. You know, there's a lot here to fix for Fils with Ivanišević after the match. The way he plays on these big points, and they're very concerning for Fils. A lot to work on here. ATX Super Day, cautious hitting. I agree with you 100%. Cautious hitting from Fils. Like, you know, he's playing here so that Berrettini gives him this match rather than taking it from him. And against top players, now he's talking to the box. Fils is. I'm not a big fan of that either, but yeah, Berrettini not going to give you the serve like that. I don't think so. Got to take it from him, and he's got weapons to be able to do that, but it's just the trust is not there. That's why in that 15-all point, when he started ripping those backhands, it's like I haven't really seen much of that type of hitting from Fils, and he's capable of hitting like that, and he has hit like that in a lot of tournaments this year. But, you know, 2 factors to consider: grass, not his favorite surface, and he's been off the tour since Rome. And so he's got to shake off the rust again, you know? Tennis is absolutely brutal in that regard. So Berrettini now finds himself 1 game away from the match. How crazy is that? But also nice to see a guy like this who struggled so much with injuries, has missed so many months, so many years because of injuries. It's nice to see him have some success at the grandest stage, like Roland Garros, now Wimbledon. It's nice to see. Slice forehand miss from Berrettini, 15 love. He's got to try to break him again at 5-3. Random Tennis God says, wait, Nick, who did you have winning this again? Fils? Yeah. Not only did I have Fils in a draw, but I also had Fils even while he was losing. Let's see here, I forget now, where is he? Hold on. Or did I have him lose? Hold on a second, where's Fils? Yeah, I had Fils in this one. And then I had Menchik taking out Fils. So the winner of this will play Menchik. If Menchik won today, I don't know if he did or not. So not only did I have that, but I also kept saying that even with down 2 sets to love, I had a feeling that Fils might win this. But he simply is too far away from his best. And he actually concerning tennis here in the 4th set from Fils. And backhand miss, 30 all. Now Berrettini 2 points away from the match. Low intensity error there. He just no footwork on that backhand. Again, you know, a lot of credit goes to Berrettini, who played an exceptional match here. Exceptional grass court tennis. So huge return from Berrettini. Forehand cross court. He's putting the pressure on Fils. Inside out forehand from Berrettini is increasing the pressure and draws the error from Fils. Backhand goes long. Match point Berrettini. Nick, why does Ruud struggle on grass? Well, the same reason that Fils might struggle on grass, as I discussed earlier in this live stream. The forehand is the least effective on grass for Ruud, but on top of that, he doesn't put in a lot of practice into grass. He never plays any warm-up tournaments, and you can't really expect to do well when you don't put in work on the grass courts, you know. Great way to save match point there from Fils. Exceptional forehand into the backhand corner. Back to deuce. Daniel Boza, first time you watched Fils playing? Well, look, he played really, really well this year. I'm telling you, it was top 5 level. 100%, I'm telling you. Especially how he played in Barcelona. Out of this world good. This guy has the goods, trust me. Second serve from Fils. And there's the pump up from Fils. He still wants it really badly. Let's see if he can get close to a break again here at 5-3. He had an opportunity in the last game, but was too passive with his forehand, too tight, too nervous. Which a lot of people don't realize, that even the best players get nervous, they get tight. Alcaraz talked about it a lot. He gets so nervous before matches. Sinner talked about it in this tournament. He was nervous in the Kecmanovic match. So nerves are part of tennis. Even at this elite level, guys deal with nerves. So last return game, Fils just simply got tight on his best shot, the forehand. Let's see if he can play more freely now. With Berrettini with an unbelievable forehand inside out. Look at these forehands. But that one, he overcooks it there, and Fils is pumped. He's again getting the crowd into it. I think this is a mistake. He should stop with the shenanigans with the crowd and just lock in. What are your thoughts, Nick, at Djoko versus Fonseca 4th round? Oh man, I'm looking forward to that one if it happens. That would be so fun. That match at Roland Garros was so good. Maybe that was the best match of the entire tournament. That Fonseca Djokovic match at Roland Garros. That was so good. So if they play again, I wanna definitely stream that one. Double fault from Berrettini, love 30. Yikes. Can Berrettini get out of this mess? Love 30. The big serve, 15-30. Out wide, Fils can't control his chip. All right. Oh, that looked like an ace. Guess it was wide. Second serve, Berrettini. Doesn't get out of the way enough, Fils. The backhand return, I'm surprised he chose to hit a backhand there. I would have thought that serve was quite central. Why didn't he move out of the way and hit a forehand? Maybe he's not trusting his forehand right now, as crazy as that sounds. Seen a lot of slice forehands today. Something's going on with his forehand. 30 all. Berrettini 2 points away. Big first serve, down the tee. Forces Fils to hit the one-handed return. Goes long. Match point, Berrettini. Wow. What serve will Berrettini choose to hit here? Will he go slice tee for an ace? I think so. He doesn't, goes out wide. Slices the backhand. Fils with a strong forehand comes to the net. Volley not strong enough, and Berrettini doesn't hit the pass. He overruns it, I think. He dumps it into the net. Wasn't the greatest volley from Fils, but a lot of kudos for Fils. First and foremost, getting that serve back in play. That was a monster serve, 129 mile an hour. Fils returned it with both hands. And then coming to the net, forcing Berrettini to come up with the goods. Came to the net to the Berrettini backhand too, who gave him a slice, which then gave him a chance to, hit that forehand volley. That was very impressive from Fils there. But another monster serve from Berrettini. 136 mile an hour bomb. And here's another match point for Berrettini. Will he now go slice down the tee for an ace? He goes central, comes to the net. And Berrettini takes it with a couple of spectacular volleys. The one backhand volley that looked like he was gonna do a drop shot. Fils started moving forward. And then somehow Berrettini actually hit that backhand volley long, which then kind of handcuffed Fils, was forced to take it out of the air. And then Berrettini with a rock-solid cross-court forehand volley for a winner, wins the match. This guy has such good hands. It's crazy to watch. His feel is so off the charts. Incredible. So this was a very interesting match because both of these guys did not play after, Fils didn't play after Rome, and Berrettini didn't play after Roland Garros. It was their first tournament on grass. And again, it's nice to see Berrettini get some nice wins on the biggest stages, get some recognition, and produce good results. Most importantly, that Roland Garros quarterfinal shot his ranking way up. He was outside the top 100 at that point, and now he's like, let's check his live ranking, okay? We'll check the LTR rankings. Hold on a second. We're going to check this real quick, LTR. And we're going to take a look at Berrettini. Look at this. He's 41 right now. Goes up 10 spots from 51 to 41. All right, so who he plays next is Berrettini will play the winner of Menchik Dimitrov. So probably Menchik. I don't know. That's going to be tough. That will be a tough one. But in any case, now he's ranked 41 in the world. That means an entire year of main draw everywhere. And it's nice to see because Berrettini, again, one of the most talented players on tour, fun to watch. And Fils, it's tough. I'm glad to see him out there on tour playing. I'm surprised actually that he played Wimbledon. I was very surprised to see him in a draw because I thought he was going to skip the entire grass court season. And so he's got to, first and foremost, you want to see Fils healthy. And Fils, like I said throughout this live stream, Fils at his best, in my book, top 5, but not like this. This was like old Fils, you know, a lot of problems in his game, a lot of things to work on with Ivanišević after the match. There were a lot of problem areas today. I'll discuss some of them later in my day 4 wrap-up, but now let's take this opportunity to take a look at my draw. And I'll tell you, it's been an absolute disaster this year. I'll be honest with you. The men were okay, actually. I got there were some lucky losers in the draw too, so I don't count those as mistakes. But I got 43 right in the men's and 20 wrong, so I got 20 wrong. Hold on, let me turn this off real quick. So I got 20 wrong on the men's, 43 right, so that's not so bad. But on the women's, I had a disaster, guys. I had a little bit of a disaster there. And I got 39 right and 24 wrong. So that's pretty bad. That's probably my worst draw ever. And I've been getting worse and worse with the women. And at one point, I would say that my women's draws were better than the men's as far as the predictions were concerned. But as of late, I've been picking very badly with the women in the first round. So now I'll be interested to see how my championship picks go. I picked Pegula, Noskova in the final, and I thought Noskova was going to win the whole thing. I had Andreeva in the semis. She's already out. And I have Swiatek, Noskova, Pegula still alive. And on the men's, my semis are looking very strong, as always. I got Fritz, Menchik, and I got Djokovic, Sinner. So we shall see, okay? I think it's, you know, it's fun to do these because I can refer back to them throughout the tournament. And it's kind of fun to look at some of the disastrous picks that I've made. So I'm going to take this opportunity to discuss maybe one of the worst picks that I've ever made because I do want to own up to it. And that's Ruud Hurkacz. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't remember picking this. I wouldn't tell you the reasoning for it because I really don't remember. So I must have not thought about what I was picking or whatever because I don't know. Listen, I've watched a lot of Hurkacz matches. I've watched a lot of Ruud matches during this clay court season. And I know that Ruud doesn't play on grass. I don't know. I mean, I give you today a lot of analysis on why the Ruud, you guys asked, because Ruud and Fils' forehands are similar in their heaviness and their RPM. And you guys asked, why doesn't Ruud play good on grass? And I gave you explanations for it, and those are valid explanations. And despite that, I had Ruud beating Hurkacz, and Hurkacz is a former semifinalist here. Maybe the best server on tour back in that era. And now is even among the best on tour in the serve department. So I wish I could give you a reasoning for why I picked that, but I simply don't remember. It takes forever to fill these out. It takes literal hours, and that particular day, I barely got this together, I'll be honest with you, because I had something else going on, and it took me an entire day to finish this, and by the time I was done, it was like 2 a.m. I actually posted a video or something like that, or 5, I don't even remember. It was worth it. The video did quite well. I think it got over 30,000 views, or even more, I don't know, I have to check. Tons of comments, so it's worth doing these, and then I get to refer back to the draw, and people, you know, they get excited. I think it creates a lot of excitement for the tournament. and it's fun to pick a winner. But I'll be honest with you, I must have been in a daydream or in a daze to pick Hurkacz over Ruud, because I normally wouldn't do that, you know? And I didn't realize I did that, but people in the comments are saying, why did you pick Hurkacz over Ruud? And I'm like, I don't remember that. Did I really pick that? I'm like, what happened here? Like, you must have been sleeping through this part of the draw or whatever. So no explanation there. But, you know, if I take a look here, there were some legendary picks, though, like picking Mike Schuck, you know, over Tabilo first round. That's a legendary pick, even though, you know, not really that much of a great pick, because Mike Schuck did win a tournament on grass. But on the men, I did pretty good. But there was here, I picked something crazy over here, too. Let me own up to the one woman mistake that I made. Where is that? Hold on. I picked something crazy here, too, that I wanted to own up to. 1 second. Hold on. Let's see here. I don't know. I can't really find it. There were really not that many bad picks here on the women's side, to be honest with you. I can't really find anything that sticks out as a horrendous pick. I think it was just a Hurkacz Ruud. And I really don't have an explanation for that one, like I already said. Yeah, no, the women weren't really that bad of a picks. Yeah. No, the women were okay. And I think I'm still doing okay on the men. But let me see one more time before we put this away for good, this draw, and take a look at it. Simone really did a number on this thing. It's completely destroyed. Let's take a look here. You know, the section of the draw that to me is very interesting. There's several sections, but I think like the sleeper on the bottom half, I think, is Lehechka. He's the sleeper. And then maybe another bonehead pick is picking Cerundolo going to 4th round. And put my hopes up for Cerundolo, but he underperformed, to say the least. He like got destroyed by Munar in the 1st round. So I had Cerundolo over Lehechka because Lehechka past Miami has been really off. So that explains why I picked Cerundolo over Lehechka. But now the tournament has started, I think like Lehechka is kind of a sleeper that could go in the quarters. He could take out Zverev. I feel like that's a guy that can kind of sneak into the quarterfinals. That's interesting, and I think Tiafoe is interesting because he played like one of the best matches that I've seen him play ever in Halle in the final against Fritz. It was a flawless match. Flawless. So I could see Tiafoe take out Fritz again. It could happen, even though I got Fritz going in the final. And then, of course, up here, I did pick Menchik to beat Shelton. And I picked Koboli to beat Diminar, which now that I've seen Diminar play, I kind of feel like the other way around. I feel like Diminar might actually make the semis up there on top. I'm not kidding you. So it's like changing a little bit now. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on this, guys. We're going to keep track of the draw. But for now, we're going to put this away. And we're going to check the poll. Where's the poll? Which one should I stream? Sinner, Brooksby, Djokovic, Rinderknecht. 107 votes. Sinner, Brooksby, 49%. Djokovic, Rinderknecht, 51%. All right, guys. You know what that means? It means I'm dual streaming. I'm going to stream both. All right? Which I think we have to start with. Which one is first? Let me take a quick glance at which is first here. That would be day 5. So first is going to be the 8:30 match. Sinner Djokovic is going to be before. Yeah, because Osaka plays at 8. So we're going to start with Djokovic at 8:30, and then once Sinner's match starts, we'll have a dual stream. So it'll start as a single stream, and it'll then automatically turn into a dual stream. and I will set all this up. It sounds a little bit easier than it is in reality. It's quite complex. So I will see you guys then. Great match today between Ayala and Joint. I live streamed that one first, and this was a fun one. I'm glad that I got to do this one because we learned a lot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? You take care.